Example 4, under sequences, write down the first 8 terms of the Fibonacci sequence defined by un equals to un minus 1 plus un minus 2, where u1 equals to 1 and u2 equals to 1. They have given us the first term u1 and the second term u2. Our task now is to find the remaining terms such that we have a total of the first 8 terms. Our sequence is defined by un being equal to un minus 1 plus un minus 2, right? Now, we are already given the first term, as you can see. So without wasting your time, you just say first term u1 is given as 1. That is part of the 8 terms. And then again, second term, that is u2, is also given. u2 is also given as 1. How do we find the third term when we are looking at Fibonacci sequence? Remember we said the next term is obtained by adding the previous 2 terms, right? The next term is obtained by adding the previous 2 terms. That was the definition and the explanation we had under the Fibonacci sequence. That means here our third term u3 becomes 1 plus 1. It gives us 2. And our fourth term u4 becomes 2 plus 1, right? 2 plus 1, it becomes 3. And then our u5 becomes 3 plus 2, 5. Our sixth term u6 simply becomes 3 plus 5, 8. Our seventh term u7 becomes 8 plus 5, 13. And finally our eighth term u8 becomes 8 plus 13, 21. That is what we said under Fibonacci sequence. I don't want you to cram a lot of things. Cramming this pattern of this sequence is okay, but it is going to be hectic for you to always try to remember. So what I am going to do, which give us the same answer, is we are given the formula un equals to un minus 1 plus un minus 2. So, and here we have the first term and the second term. So the third term, I want to show you an approach that does not need you to have crammed something. So our third term u3, remember for third term u3, n is what? N is 3, right? So we simply, where you see n in this expression, put 3. And thus here we shall have u3, because n is 3, equals to you are seeing n here again, n is 3, u3 minus 1, right? Plus u, again n is there, n is 3, but minus 2. It is simply a concept that wherever you see n in the given formula, substitute for 3, since we are looking for the third term. And now from here we shall have u, 3 minus 1 is 2, plus u, 3 minus 2 is 1, right? So for us to get the third term u3, we simply need to add the second term u2 and the first term u1, which are given here, 1 plus 1. So here we shall have 1 plus 1, and our third term gives us 2, which I was telling you here, that for us to get the third term, we simply add the previous 2 terms, which is the first term and the second term. So this is our third term. What about our fourth term? Our fourth term, U4, let me write here fourth term. Our n here must be 4, right? So you just come to this formula. Where you see n, you put 4. That was our U3. Therefore, our U4, where there is n here, put 4, equals to Un. N is 4 minus 1 plus U, n is 4 minus 2. And then we simplify, right? We simplify. U, 4 minus 1 is 3, plus U, 4 minus 2 is 2, U2. So for us to get the fourth term, we simply need to add the third term and the second term. Our third term is here, and our second term was given in the question, which is 1. So we add. So our third term is 2 plus our second term, which is 1. So U4 becomes 3. This is our fourth term. U4 becomes 3. And if you look here, U4 is also 3. How did I get it? It is simply the third term 2 plus the second term 1. 2 plus 1 gives us 3. And we do the same for the fifth term. So for the fifth term, how do you write it? Term, that is U5. It means our n here is 5. So in that formula, we just say U5 equals to U5 minus 1 plus U5 minus 2. U5 minus 1, that gives us U4 plus U3. So for us to get the fifth term, we just add the fourth term and the third term. Our fourth term here is 3 and our third term is 2. Therefore, we shall have here 3 plus 2 and our fourth term is 5. 5 is, I'm saying fourth term, this is fifth term rather. Our fifth term is 5. So our U5 is 5. And when we come here to how I did it, it was 5. How? 2 plus 3. So someone may be thinking that I'm doing it the long way, but I want you to have the understanding that even if you know nothing about the Fibonacci sequence, you can still use the expression and analyze it. Actually, in exams, it is very rare for them to mention this term, this name. They just give you the sequence and it is you to figure it out. So the way is that where there is n, put the term that you are looking for. That is the fifth term. Now let me come up here to look for the sixth term. Sixth term, that is U6, where our n is 6, right? So our sixth term U6 becomes U, substitute 6 minus 1 plus U 6 minus 2. Remember, this formula varies depending on the question, so you just need to follow your question. So here we shall have U5 plus U4, right? So for us to get the sixth term, we need to just add the fifth term and the fourth term. So you come back and check where you got them. The fifth term was 5 and the fourth term was 3. So here we shall have 5 plus 3. So our sixth term is 8. Therefore, our U6 is 8. And then what about the seventh term? That is simply U7, right? Where n is 7. So in that formula, we shall just say U7 equals to U7 minus 1 plus U7 minus 2. This gives us U6 plus U5. 7 minus 2 is 5. So just get the sixth term, U6, which is 8, plus the fifth term, which is 5. And that gives us 13. So our seventh term, U7, is 13. And if you come here I got 13. Simply by adding the previous two terms, which is the sixth term and the fifth term. And lastly, our eighth term that the question requested, 8th term, that is U8. So our n here must be 8. So we just have U8 equals to U8 minus 1 plus U8 minus 2. This gives us U7 because 8 minus 1 is 7 plus 8 minus 2 is 6, U6. What is our U7? That is the 7th term, which is 13, plus U6, which is the 6th term, which is 8. And then you press your calculator and add them. And here it gives us 21. So our 8th term is 21. And if you look here, it was 21. So the thing is, do not cram a lot of things. Always follow the given definition of the sequence. If you are given certain terms like first term and second term, well and good, you use them wherever you find U1 and U2. And then you adhere to the formula, knowing that n is from 1 to 3 up to infinity. Depending on the term that you want, you substitute accordingly. And therefore, the first 8 terms are, what was our first term? Yeah, it was 1, and then 2, right? Yes, 2, 3, 5, 8, after 5, 8, after 8, 13, and then 20, and then 21. So these are the first 8 terms of the sequence that we were given. Otherwise, we have come to the end of example 4. This is your tutor here, and we are Vision Plus.